Hi there YouTube, it's me Tifol Wilderness. Welcome to my channel and welcome to the second of this year's end of month bot haul, the bot haul for February of 2023. Right, got a bunch of things that I've bought throughout the month. Yeah, it's kind of a meagre haul. I haven't got a great deal of items to show you. Only 11 items, a couple of Korean toys, 2 third-party figures, some official stuff, and a bunch of comics. You know, it's the usual sort of stuff. And yeah, so without that said, let's get into things, shall we? Right. So, first thing to arrive was the first thing that one of the first things that I ordered this month, because, you know, as I usually do, I like to place a bunch of orders at the beginning of the month, and then I wait for them to come in throughout the rest of the month. Now there's a new show in Japan. It's from Takara Tomy, but it's not Transformer related per se. It's a new kids show called Jobraver or Jobraver. And basically you've got these little cutesy robots that are going around helping, you know, humans, you know, do various, you know, daily jobs, you know, like construction. And then you've got like the emergency services, you've got the police, the fire brigade, and ambulance service, and they've all got these little robot dudes that drive around doing these sort of, you know, these jobs. And but there's these other sort of similar sort of style robots doing jobs in the world that are going rogue and you know, doing bad things. And so these little characters go out and they get to the site, and then they get this code sent to them by the control, and you see this code flash across their face, and then they then grow in size, and they convert into like a waste section, and then all the parts from the vehicle, like, you know, attached to them, and they become a robot, and then they fight the rogue robots and pacify them, and you know, it's all a good thing. So many different, they're licensed vehicles that they turn in, that they have as their alt modes, but you have the robot and then you have the alt mode. So the alt mode isn't technically the robot. The alt mode is just parts for the Jobraver when he transforms into his sort of mech mode to do the business. And there's a bunch of different vehicles that they've done, a number of different trucks and vans, and they've done like some Nissan GTRs, you know, sort of police cars, and they've done like there's a helicopter, and then there's a motorbike, you know, a Honda VFR motorbike. That one looks pretty cool. And they've also done an excavator. Now I saw the excavator. It's a Komatsu, you know, PC 200, you know, hydraulic excavator, and I thought that looks pretty cool, so I decided to get one. And then I went onto eBay and looked around. Obviously, you know, where can I get one from? And it's a lot of sellers in Japan selling these things, and the prices like vary wildly. I mean, the sort of the base price you can expect to pay for these things is around about sort of like 25-30 quid plus a bit of postage. But there was people asking like 70-80 quid for this Komatsu, you know, excavator one, and I thought, I ain't paying that. Not when I can get like some of the other figures for like half that price. So I looked around, and then I found somebody who was actually selling it for a somewhat sensible price, and I went and bought it, placed my order on the 1st, and then it arrived on Monday the 6th, and was the subject of my first unboxing video this month. So yeah, there we go. Jobraver. I think this is called the Build Braver because, you know, he transformed into, well, his alt mode is a construction machine, and the little dude, you can see like there's his face look around the back, and there's like automorph on these things, and just so you take it off, and then you bring him round, and there's your little the Jobraver dude. And then you get the alt mode. So I just gonna put this thing back together. Come on. And there's the excavator. So you know, this little dude drives along in this. Then he comes to the site. And then he grows in size, and then he transforms. And then it's parts forming. So you have to take the tracks off, and the tracks become the legs, like so. And then the top piece, you get your little dude. You fold his head back. You fold his legs up, and then you twist his arms round. So he becomes a torso for the robot, and then you plug it in, and then there's a bit of automorph goes on. There we go. So it all springs open, and there's a little bit more. You know, you pull the arm out, and then you get the feet, and then you just plug the feet on. And there you go. And there he is in his robot mode. It's a pretty neat little figure. Oh, I haven't quite done that properly. There we go. It's a pretty neat little figure. I like the fact that it turns into a like an excavator construction vehicle. It's got a decent amount of articulation, though. I would have liked to have seen, like a hinge joint on the bucket. It hasn't got one. It's fixed. But apart from that, it's all right. It's decent. It's a different take on the transforming toy genre. The show is very much geared at kids. It's a CGI show. You know, the Jobraver robots are very cutesy. But I'm thinking about getting some more of them. I'd like to get hold of the motorbike. The motorbike looks pretty cool, but you can get like a black version of the motorbike in a twin pack with one of the Nissan GTR police cars, and that might be an interesting one to go for next. I don't know. I was thinking about getting the helicopter, but then when I saw somebody do a video on it on YouTube, it's got very spindly legs, and it's like, not so sure about that one. But this one's pretty cool. Like I said, there's people asking, scalper money for this thing on eBay, like 70, 80 quid. Don't pay that for it. It's not worth it. I got mine for about, I think 40, 45 quid shipped, and it arrived from Japan in like 6 days. So that was pretty good. So yeah. So I got hold of this Jobraver or Build Braver, excavator dude, and he was the first thing that arrived this month. And here's a pretty sweet little figure. And then it's moving along till the first of my Korean purchases. First one arrived on the 11th. Done a review on it, and I've done unboxing. Yeah, I've done unboxing. Yeah. Tobot V Mini Classic. Yeah, he's pretty good actually for a classic. Well, not for a classic, for a Tobot V minifigure. This one's pretty good, and the robot mode has got a decent amount of paint apps on it. It's not fully flush with paint, but the legs especially are virtually identical to the big figure in terms of the paint apps they've got on them. It's got a decent transformation. He's got a reasonable amount of articulation as well. Yeah, he's pretty good. I'm pleasantly surprised by it. He's half decent. Yeah, obviously I've got the big one, and I wanted to get the little one. I'd seen KR Brickbot get this and do a review on it, so it made me thought, well, actually that looks pretty good. I might want to get that myself. So yeah, I got hold of him. He's pretty cool, and one of the my first Korean purchase of the month. So that's Tobot V Mini Classic. And then a couple of days later, we got Tobot V Mini Leo Kaiser. Now, this guy isn't quite so good as Classic. He looks good in his robot mode and his alt mode. He looks like a scaled down version of the big figure. Again, the missing paint apps, but that's typical of these Tobot V minifigures. But the thing that lets this guy down is the articulation. I mean, he's got very restricted articulation, whereas Classic has got a decent range of articulation and sometimes the minifigures tend to be a little bit restricted in that regard. But like I said, I was pleasantly surprised with with Mini Classic and being as good as he is, and this guy was somewhat disappointing by comparison. Also, because of he's got like the stupidly short thighs and the really long shins, as a lot of the Tobot V figures have, and it really hurts it on this minifigure because he's hardly got he's got very restricted articulation on his legs because of it, and especially the square hips, which means his hips have hardly got any movement backwards and forwards. So yeah, very disappointed by this thing. I don't hate it, I hoped for more, and it didn't quite meet my expectations as what I was expecting from this thing. It looks good. The alt mode looks great. Again, could do with more paint apps. As they could have done with painting the wheels silver. I mean, they painted Classics wheels gold. I mean, come on. I mean, at least they could have done with painted Leo Kaiser's wheels silver. I mean, I could do the paint apps on this and make it look amazing, but my point is why should I paint it? It should come like that from the factory. It's like, why should I customize it to look more like the CGI model? It's just one of those. Anyway, so yeah, I got hold of him. Again, another Tobot V minifigure. I've been buying the minifigures this month to save a bit of money. Next month, again, I want to save some money and I'll give you the reasons for that at the end of the video. Yeah, so I might be getting some more Tobot. Well, I might be getting some more Korean minifigures next month just to save a bit of money. So yeah, got hold of him, and he's a tad disappointing. Right, now getting towards the middle of the month, I bought a few things, and yeah, it was like, what can I buy now? And then I thought, comics. I haven't bought any comics this month, so went onto eBay, went to that seller that I've been buying comics from a lot lately, and bought a bunch more comics from her. And the first couple of lots, they both arrived together on the 15th, but there were two separate lots of comics that I bought and two separate eBay orders. First of which is these ones. So that's issue 70 and issue 71. So that now completes my 70 series comics. So I've got all the comics now from issue 70 to issue 79. So I've got all of those now. And then 83, which was the last remaining comic from the Target 2006 series that I needed. So yep, finally got hold of that. So issue 83, which is part of the Target 2006 storyline run, is the only one I needed to complete that set. So I've finally got that, and that completed my run of the 80 comics. So now I've completed the 70 series and the 80 series. So that was good. And then I think I ordered them later the same day. I got a bunch more. So then I got number 122. Number 125, number 128, and number 150. Now, same deal with these. I bought them from the same seller. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. Sarah something or other. Anyway, yeah. So I've figured out that she has this thing where she says pick your own comic, and you have this drop down menu where you can pick the issue, and she's got dozens and dozens, sometimes multiple versions of the same issue depending on the quality of them, and then they have different prices depending on the quality and the value of the issue. Earlier ones go for a lot more money, obviously, but I figured out how to buy stuff off her without running up multiple shipping fees, getting like a single shipping fee. And when I do multiple orders, she was just combining them together, and she gave me a small discount on this lot. She refunded the shipping fee because I bought two lots of comic off her, and she shipped them together. Yeah, so that's the 120 series finished, and the 150 series with issue 150, which has got that amazing that double-sided cover, which was a homage to the 1986 Transformers the movie. So yeah, there was that, and I got those, and that's another 7 comics off the list of the comics that I'm trying to get hold of. So that was good, and they all arrived on the 15th. So yeah, so I've managed to get a bunch of comics, so that was a good thing. Right, next, then again. I had a glut of money, and I was thinking, well, what can I buy? What can I buy? So I went online, and then there was something I was watching on eBay. As a large third-party figure with an eBayer, that Badabobos 00712 with him, and he'd slightly reduced the price on it, and that made me decide to actually go and buy it. So I pulled the trigger on it, and with all the fees and everything, it came to just under 95 quid. So I thought that was a good deal, so I bought that, and that will arrive shortly. And then I thought, I was on Amazon and I was looking at 52 Toys Beast boxes, because I've bought a few of these things, and I've obviously last year Top Bot I got last year, White Noise, 52 Toys White Noise, got him. Really impressed. I've got a few more 52 Toys figures since then, and there's a few more new ones coming out which I've got my eye on. There's a chameleon called is it Phantasm or something, and then there's what else is it? There's a Triceratops, a robotic Triceratops that's come out. That looks pretty good. And then don't get me started on Floyd, the pink flamingo. I mean, oh my god. They've actually done a box that turns into a pink flamingo, and they've called it Floyd. Absolutely amazing. So yeah, there's a bunch of these new figures coming out. The new ones, you have to go on to places like AliExpress to buy them, and then you run the gauntlet of VAT payments and shipping fees and all that stuff, and shipping delays and all that stuff, So yeah, but I noticed that on Amazon there was this there's like a shop. Like a 52 Toys have got like a shop on Amazon, and they have a bunch of their figures on there that you can get, that they have in stock in UK sellers for a reasonable price, around about sort of like 30-35 quid. And I was looking around and I saw one, and I thought, I quite like the look of that one, so I went and got it, and it arrived on the 18th. "52 Toys Beast Box BB50 Kite-Moss." Now, yeah, look at this thing. It's either a moth or a butterfly, and it's got this great wingspan. It's got all these amazing colours. It looks awesome, and I decided to get this thing because it looks really cool. But then when I got it, and I thought, yeah, I've got it, and then I went, obviously it comes in the little what they called box charger. It comes in the little box, and then when you went to transform it, and this thing has got one of the ridiculously simple transformations I've ever had on. Well, it's got the easiest transformation I've had on a 52 Toys figure, and basically it's kind of like a shell former. So you basically fold them up, fold that up, fold them in, and then you just basically collapse the wings. You basically, collapse the wings, and then you fold that up, fold that down, slide that back, fold that in, and then you just collapse it all down, and then you basically just fold the whole thing round, clip it together, fold them bits in, and then just stick them bits in, and there you go. It's in a box. And then it goes in the little thing. it's ridiculous. It's laughably simple to transform this thing. It's I'm a little disappointed with how easy it is to transform. You know, so from a box, you know, you just. Just a case of just folding and pulling everything out. And there you go. It's so easy. It's so easy to do. I'm kind of disappointed by how easy it is to transform, but still, it looks amazing. And it's what they're doing with these 52 toys is nothing short of incredible. And I will be getting more of them. Like I said, I've got my eyes on the chameleon, the triceratops, and the flamingo because they look really, really good. And I'm probably gonna, you know, throw down on those because they look pretty cool. But anyway, so I got hold of this, got it off Amazon. You can get certain figures off Amazon. They are available. They've only got a limited selection on Amazon. They haven't got all the figures. They haven't got many of the older ones or the really new ones. They've got like the ones that have been out for a little while. But the prices are decent and they're, you know, UK shipping, so that's decent. So yeah. So if you fancy a dabble in something a little different, 52 Toys Beast boxes, I can thoroughly recommend them. But yeah, I managed to get hold of her. 52 Toys Kite-Moss. Right, and yeah, we're really whipping through this thing. The next thing to arrive on the 20th was that third-party figure that I bought off Badabobo 00712. Like I said, it's a figure that he had in his sort of eBay shop at a certain price. He reduced the price on it slightly, and I decided to go for it. I managed to get it for just under 95 quid shipped, and it arrived on the 20th. Zeta Toys EX16 Thundermaker. So basically, it's their masterpiece Thundercracker. Now, this mould is it started life as a Conehead mould from Toy World. Toy World, as you know, I'm a Toy World fanboy. I've got a lot of Toy World products in my collection. At one point, it was the most numerous third-party company in my collection, but then got overtaken by Mastermind Creations. Yeah, they bought out the Coneheads, and they were in this slightly. The aesthetic on it was quite unusual, and this has got that aesthetic, though it's probably not coming across on this camera anyway. They kind of look like an upscaled Classics. It's very kind of blocky and square, but I kind of liked it. But they didn't do the Seekers in that mould, so I was a bit disappointed. And of course, then the Zeta Toys split happened. A bunch of their designers and engineers weren't getting paid or whatever, and so they split off from the main company and formed their own company, Zeta Toys. And as part of that split, they were given a bunch of moulds as sort of severance pay, so to speak, for quitting the company, and they got hold of the moulds for the Coneheads, and of course then they reworked them, and out of them came the Seekers. So this has been out for a while. I've been, I like Thundercracker. He's one of my favourite, sort of characters. He's my Seeker of choice, and I decided I wanted to get the Zeta Toys version. Yeah. Now, when it arrived in very plain brown packaging with just the logo on it. I was a bit disappointed at the packaging. And then the figure was like semi-transformed in the box. It was sort of like the top half was in robot mode and the bottom half was in plain mode. So I had to sort of transform it fully into robot mode. And in doing so, I had a few issues with it. You know, there was a few little things that kept popping off. There's no loose joints on it as such, but you know, the transformation. It took me. Took me a while to get my head around the transformation, and then I transformed it into jet mode, and it was okay in jet mode. It's got like sprung landing gear with metal wheels. It's got quite a lot of die cast on it. He's quite heavy. It's also he's very tall as well. He's bigger than the MP10 mold. I mean, let's just put him next to, you know, like a leader class figure. You know, he's pretty big. Yeah. So the Toy World had they did that Prime Orion, didn't they? That Optimus Prime, which was like oversized from the MP10 scale. It was more like an MP01 scale. And I think these Seekers were angled. Well, they were also designed in that MP01 style scale. And this is now the biggest Thundercracker toy I've got in my collection. It's slightly bigger than the other Masterpiece Thundercrackers I've got. I've got an MP11 version, and I've got the Make Toys Lightning as well, and he's just slightly taller, about a head taller than them. And yeah, I had to transform it back from plane mode to robot mode for this video, and when I transformed it back, I thought, it's not so bad. So he was on the worst list for a time, but then I was expecting some other figures to come in which haven't come in, so he's still technically on the chopping block, but it's not bad. It's okay. I'm a little disappointed by it in some ways, but I finally got hold of one, and he's an okay figure. He's all right, and it's my first example of a Zeta Toys product as well. It's my first Zeta Toys figure. It's a bit, it's a bit hit and miss with me on some levels, but yeah. So I managed to get hold of this finally. And yeah, for better or for worse, it's an okay-ish kind of thing, but I'd hoped for better. Right, then some more comics. I had a bit of money sort of left over after buying that, and I decided to. I bought a couple of things. I placed an order on TF Direct for a figure. I bought a figure off eBay, and then I bought some more comics. And the comics arrived on the day after that thing, on the 21st. Now, again, buying them from the same seller. As I had a bit of money left over, I decided to up the ante and buy some of the earlier, more expensive comics. So, got hold of issue 24, and then the big ones, I got hold of issue number 9 and issue number 3. So I've now got 6 out of the 9 sort of zero issue comics, and there is 9 in the zero issues, because there is an issue 0, so you've got 1 to 9, and then you've got 10 to 19, and then 20 to 29. That's the way I'm doing it. So yeah, there was a time when I thought I'd got issue 2, but no, this is issue number 3, obviously. The condition of it is good for its age. It's got yellowed pages, a few crinkles on it, but the spine's in good nick. None of the there's no rips or tears. None of the vouchers have been filled in and cut out. So it's in okay condition. And I paid $24.99 for this comic. And if you add the £1, the free, split the £3 postage down the middle, or into free, then I paid £25.99 for this comic, which is a lot of money for an old comic. But bearing in mind, I paid £53 for issue 1. Issue 2, when I get it, I'm sort of going somewhere between sort of like £50 and sort of £25, somewhere in that price range is what I'm prepared to pay for issue number 2 if I can get hold of one. But got hold of issue 3, and that was a bit of a that's a bit of a big deal. And then I also got hold of issue number 9 as well, which is the start of the Man in Iron storyline. So this is quite a significant issue as well. Yeah, so I managed to get hold of that. And then what little money I had left, I made a play on issue 24. And these comics, like I said, they're all in reasonably good condition for their age. And I paid, I think it was it $5.99 for that? And I think it was $9.99 for that. So, yeah. So I've got a couple of comics. And so I've got 10 comics in total this month. And that's, I'm getting close. Well, I've got my sheet of paper in the other room with all the lists of all the comics that I've got and all the comics that I want, and I did really well this month getting those comics, so I'm getting there. I've only got 3 more issues to get from the first sort of 9, or well, I suppose you could count 10 in that, but yeah, so I'm doing really well. I'm quite pleased. Anyway, so just a couple of things now. Then on the following day, the 22nd, eBay item, Studio Series Hot Rod. Yeah, decided to get this. A lot of people have been, saying good things about it. I've got the 2 other versions of Last Night Hot Rod. I've got the Legion Class 1, and I've got the original Deluxe. The original Deluxe was a rework of the Age of Extinction lockdown mould, wasn't it? And I quite like that, actually. I thought that was half decent. But this one is probably better. It's a more accurate car mode for starters. Fiddly transformation on this. I've got to say, very fiddly transformation. There's some little flappy bits that pop off when you transform in it. It's all right. It's okay. I'm not overly impressed by it, but it's half decent. It's probably the best version of Hot Rod we've got so far in the official toy line. So yeah, I managed to get hold of him off an eBay seller, and then the next thing to arrive was a pre-order. A pre-order which I'd placed back in the last year when the wave 1 of the Transformers Evolution, was it wave 1? Wave 1 figures was the pre-orders went down. There's a couple of figures that were revealed in it, and one in particular which captured the imagination of the Transformers community. I am, of course, referring to Tarn of the DJD. Yes, so they showed him as the figurehead of that artwork for the Evolution Wave 1, or the Transformers Evolution thing. You've got his head front and center in the top of the image. So yeah, you're actually getting an official toy of Tarn. And I was quite excited because, Tarn, as we know from the IDW, he's an IDW, comic creation from the IDW, from More Than Meets the Eye. I believe he was created by James Roberts. And yeah, him and his cohorts. I mean, I've got them all the Mastermind Creations ones. I've got the Iron Factory ones as well. I've got the Iron Factory DJD characters. But to for him to get actually recognised in a cartoon series and then in the toy line, it was like, wow. Because don't forget, Tarn turned up in season 3 of Cyberverse, and it was him and that army of lookalike Tarns, super Decepticons or what they were from the future that come into the past to try and take over everything, and and then it gets announced we're getting Tarn in the in the Evolution toy line. Wow. So yeah, I definitely wanted one, and I pre-ordered it, and it arrived on the 24th. So yeah, I got me an Evolution Tarn. Now, I've got the Mastermind Creations one, and when I got Kultor, the Mastermind Creations one, I was blown away by that figure. The mould on it, the engineering, the transformation, it was just awesome figure. This it's good. It's good that we've got a Tarn in the official toy line. I'm totally on board with it. It looks really good. It's a decent rendition of the character. It looks really good. His alt mode's, pretty decent. He just turns into a Cybertronian tank at the end of the day. It's what's it supposed to look like? So yeah, he's pretty good. His mask doesn't come off, but then again, why would they do that? That was just a comic thing where he took his mask off. But the Mastermind Creations one, the mask comes off. So yeah, so I've got one figure that does that. Yeah, decent figure. Something about this though that I'm not too okay about. In the pictures, the promotional pictures of this figure, the purple on him was very bright and vivid, and then when I get it in hand, it's like it's sort of very, very dull and flat. And it's like, I know Tarn is supposed to be like a dark purple, but I would have liked his colours to have stood out a little bit more than what they actually do. Yeah, he's all right. He's okay. And it's Tarn at the end of the day. It's bloody Tarn. I mean, I've got an official Tarn toy in my hand. Never thought I'd have that this time last year. So yeah, it's really, really interesting times we're in with this Transformers Legacy and Evolution toy line. We're getting some right to, left field plucks from Transformers history with the characters that they're bringing out. But yeah, got hold of him finally. Ordered him from Comics and Cocktails. They did take their time shipping it out because I had seen it on the shelf in Smith's a number of weeks ago, and I was thinking, but I can buy this figure here right now. But where's mine? I've pre-ordered it from an online retailer. Where is it? It's all that. It does make me feel a little jealous when I see it on sale in other places where I can buy it. And the one that I've pre-ordered is still, waiting in the wings to get shipped. That's a little annoying to me. But yeah, got him. Tarn, he's all right. He's okay. He's decent, and yeah, Tarn in the official toy line. Go figure. And just to round this little haul off, one more figure that arrived, and it arrived yesterday on Monday the 27th. Went on TF Direct late in the month, and it was around about the middle of the month, and placed an order on a third-party Legends figure that I've been wanting. It was quite cheap, but there's a reason why it was cheap. So, Magic Square Voice Ripple. Yeah. Now, this is supposed to be a repainted version. It's in slightly more, sort of flat, sort of toon colours, because the original one was quite gaudy, wasn't it? It doesn't come with any cassettes, so this is just Soundwave with his shoulder cannon, with his hand blaster. It's just that. There is no cassette. There's nothing in there. No cassette with him. The original figure came with a couple of cassettes. This one doesn't. I paid. It was less than 40 quid to get this thing from TF Direct, and so it's pretty cheap. Transformation is. I mean, I've got the New Age one. I've got New Age Scaramanga, which is the toy coloured one, and he's amazing. He's awesome. This one is okay. It's all right. Again, it's got the flat. The flat sort of colour palette, which is, I wish it would have been, again, a little bit brighter than what it is. But, he's all right. The transformation, he turns into his beatbox. Little disappointed the arms don't do more stuff, where they just fold back behind and clip in a few places. The legs have got some tricks to do the thing. And there's a like a phony sort of, like a... The tape thing is stuck in his back, but it's an okay figure. It's all right. I must admit, between this and the New Age version, I definitely prefer the New Age mould to this one. The New Age mould has got a lot more about it. It's got die cast on it, for Christ's sake. I mean, it's a lot heavier than this thing. It's better painted. The transformation's more fluid on it. There's so many things on the New Age one that just does better than this. And it came with some cassettes. But then again, it was, how much was it? It was about 70, 80 quid, I'm sure it was. Was it 60, 65, 70 quid? I only paid, like I said, just under 40 for this one. So, yeah. So, yeah, I got hold of him. Magic Square, voice ripple. He's okay. So that's it. That's my haul for this month. Not a very big haul. I mean, this video's only gone out for 40 minutes. I mean, usually these videos run out a lot longer than that. Right, so, first and worst. It's a tough one this month. Because nothing really stood out. Either for bad or for worse. You know, I have a fairly neutral feeling for most of the things I got this month. Some figures I admit I like probably more than others, but not enough to, you know, to put them up on that pedestal as being the best that I got this month. And I'm looking at the figures beside me, and I'm thinking, well, there was one of them that was definitely on the worst list at one point. The rest of them, I don't know. I just can't make my mind up. I mean, I was supposed to be getting... I'd pre-ordered the Evolution Wave 2 core class figures from Hasbro Pulse, and I got notification to say that they were going to get shipped a few days ago, and I was expecting them to turn up either yesterday and today, and they didn't. So there's a good chance they're going to turn up tomorrow. Right. First. I'm not 100% sure about this. First and worst. Right. I'm saying that Tarn is my first because it's Tarn. He gets the first spot or the best spot of the month simply because of his character. The toy itself, I have a few issues with it, but, you know, it's Tarn, and that's my reason for making him the best spot I got this month. And this guy, again, like I said, he looks okay in both modes, but, you know, he's let down by the articulation, and it didn't need to be. So that's counted against him quite heavily. I don't hate this thing. It's just, you know, I think it could have been better. It could have been a lot better. With a few tweaks to the mould, this thing could have been so much more than what it actually is, but they just don't think of those things when they're designing them, do they? So yeah, that's why he's the worst. I don't hate him. He's just... I just like him least out of the things that I've got this month. You know, I don't like him as much as the others, if that makes any sense. Right, so that's this haul done for this month. Moving on to the next month. Now, next month, obviously, we've got an event happening next month. We've got the TF Nation Mini-Con at Manchester on the 25th. I'm going. I've got a ticket. The only thing is, I'm not too sure how to get there. I mean, I could go on the train, and I have been down to the station and priced up a ticket, but the ticket was like 60 quid. And because the hotel, the Piccadilly Hotel, is right next to Manchester Piccadilly railway station, so it's literally a short walk from the railway station. So I could go on the train. Now, if I go in my car, it's where to park it and the car parking charges. I imagine they'll be quite expensive in the Manchester city centre. I don't know whether Manchester's got a congestion charge. It probably hasn't, but you might have to. The inner circle of Manchester city centre might have a zone where you have to pay to go into it. And I'm a bit unsure as to going in my car, but and also how much money I'm going to take as well. Because I mean, I have my account with the money I build up for TF Nation every year, but that's for the big convention in August. This is an extra convention that's just appeared, and I'm going to, and I'm kind of thinking. I mean, I have my monthly budget, and I could use some of my budget to go there, but that means I'd have to be careful on what I buy. Tomorrow with my initial orders. I mean, that's probably why I'm probably going to be buying more sort of like, you know, sort of mini Korean figures, because they're kind of cheap. You know, I can get these things for like sort of like 30, no, 25, 30 quid each, and that's better than spending like sort of 65, 70, you know, or 70, 75 quid for the big figures. Yeah, so I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do in that regard, but I'm sure I'll work something out come the event itself. Also, I might have to reduce the budget, my monthly budget, because I got a week or so ago, I got a letter from my energy supplier saying they're gonna bump up my energy tariff next month, because apparently I've been using more energy than using more electricity and gas than I should have done, and I've got ahead of myself on my bill. You know, I've used more energy that I'm supposed to, and they're because I'm on a variable tariff, they're bumping my tariff up next month. And as my household account is quite finely balanced, it's going to upset the apple cart as regards to my household finances, and money might start draining out of my household account, which would be a bad thing. So I might have to transfer more money from my current account into my household account to balance the books, and that money's got to come from somewhere, and where better than my monthly book buying budget. So we'll just have to wait and see there. We have to let things play out. I am doing quite a lot of overtime at work at the moment, so that might offset things a bit, but like I said, it's difficult to say what's going to happen in that regard. But anyway, there we go. That's been my haul for February of 2023. Moving on to March. We've got things going on next month, and I might see you at if you go into the TF Nation Minicon in Manchester on the 25th of March, then I'll probably see you there. So I've been TFR Wilderness. I'll catch you all later. Ta-da.